Hi, my name is Artur Allen, and I'm a poet and translator of poetry from Swedish into English, and I'm also a PhD student at the University of Edinburgh. I'm really pleased to be taking part in this year-long reading series hosted by Translators Aloud in celebration of the Swedish English Language Translators Association's 40th anniversary. This month I'm delighted to be reading selected poems from a classic example of Swedish literary modernism, The Wind Out of the Darkness, by Maria Wine, her first poetry collection published in 1943. These pieces are available to read at Swedish Book Review, which is Celta's journal brought out by Norvik Press, and I'm currently looking for a UK publisher to introduce the magic of Maria Wine to the Anglophone world. What do I want? What do I want? The eagle flies over fell and valley. Small birds shake. I hide from life. What can I do? Life feeds on its own cruelty. People kill each other. I stand alone and watch. What do I wish? The thought sails from cloud to cloud. Wind evades the sea and the land. I go in rings around my grave. What must I do? The butterfly dances in meeting the summer. Shadows cradle the long evenings. I gather the greying hair of time. What did I want? Laughter is freed. The seed is bound. I kiss my beloved without pain. What could I do? To cry is soothing. Childhood is a blind man's song. I sow roses outside the window. What did I want? The soil is soft, the summer gone. I'm searching for a sister in the same boat. What should I have done? The winter is cold, the lie glows. I reach toward life with an uncertain hand. At morning's redness. At morning's redness the mermaid rises from the night sea, scattering the weight of water from her body, till only a few drops glitter like fish scales on her nakedness. She settles herself on the strand's black shining stones with her face to the rising sun. Her sea-green hair falls heavily over bare shoulders. The wind dries it with light hands, and with one last living effort she fastens the wonderful green into knot. There she sits fixed, as though she has grown together with the stones, looking out over her world. Never has such a beautiful woman been seen by day, never has such a desirable woman been owned by man. But in the soft darkness of the night, she looses her long hair once more and sinks quietly into the sea. See the autumn come to you. See the autumn come to you, gold courses from the tongue of the sun. Leaves fall aureate from the sky, the land cracks, and gruff seabirds scream with the snare round their gullets. Now human hands cleave desperately at summer's faded wallpaper. The night owl lights the lantern on its brow, moss grows like a kiss round the woman's lips, and the cat purrs one last sunbeam into the old gaffer's ear. Ramblers in red wind. Ramblers in red wind, the leaves gently rustling at your feet, the air washed with a cold hand, broadening all your beaches. A surge of joy sings within you. Beautiful birds of autumn orbit round you, newborn chestnuts, resting in your hand like wet calf eyes. The cliff in the waves awakens from summer's hazy slumber and rises, proclaiming itself into space. When it stopped raining. When it stopped raining, we went out into the garden. The sunbeams reflected in thousands of dewdrops, and in our newfound joy, we let our tongues dance like wee birds in the gliding raindrops of the ironwork gate. We went naked to the woods, with hands braided together, and we drank the leaves' fresh coolness with our warm bodies. Our footprints sank deep in the supple soil and became small lakes of rain, for insects to swim in, for birds to slake their thirst. Black forest snails crossed our path, and now we saw sun and shade weave a mesh over the path, nuzzling the forest flowers and trees. The creek lay so heavy and dreamy, milk-drunk on the river of heaven. We saw a boat coming out of the cover of reeds, and heard a woman's laugh echo from the bank, and, in the mirror of the lake, we saw raindrops slowly glide over our naked bodies. But now dusk is falling, blue and long. The flowers close their beautiful eyes. The birds fall silent in the forest thicket. Joy drains away in the owl-light silence. Oh, these long, lovely evenings, quiet as a cloud escaping over the earth, forlorn as a beautiful woman's song, the beauty that surrounds them and is in them bewilders my soul and reminds me of my own deficiency. Oh, if I were a flower with closed petals, if I were a stone cut by time's eternity, if I were a grain of brilliant sand in the moonlight, if I were a wave playing lightly on the shore, here I want to stand, receiving your silence and beauty within me. But something always comes between us. Is it awareness of my brief life that makes me want to master you? Or is it like this, that living man must walk side by side with nature, and only as the dead join in with its beauty and silence? So alone, and yet my hand rests in yours, but your eyes investigate the distance. Your thoughts follow escaping clouds. So alone, and yet I weep against your shoulder, but evening is suffering to its end. Your morning begins in another country. So alone, and yet we sail in the same stray boat, but our longing goes in diverse directions, and there at the crossroads you bid farewell. So alone, and yet your name sings within me, your laughter lights up the night, your caresses stay with me, but you live in another country. I've barely had time to build your name. I've barely had time to build your name with the white pebbles of the beach before relentless waves of sea have washed it away. Could I just as easily rip your name from my heart? But the heart is not a wave that comes and goes. The heart is a mill that grinds and grinds. It's night. It's night. I'm sitting alone by the window. The moon glows sadly over the land. Sometimes the night wind strokes my hair and makes the open window clink. I hear, far off, cows lowing, and somewhere a train bellows. Insects flutter incessantly against the glass, drawn by the dull sun of my lamp. She-cats whine, dark shadows moving on the roof. A rooster wakes up too early and crazed, and I hear in the distance how a lone hiker scurries away from his own footsteps, but the night has seized him in the depth of its darkness. Wind howls over the merciless defeat of summer. Wind howls over the merciless defeat of summer, tears in the old woman's torn clothes. A silver-grey streak shines already in my hair, and the leaves are bathing in their golden blood. Nature is suddenly surprised by a deep stillness, a moment before death of waiting. The trees stand hushed with their arms bare. The water is washed out and wistful as a melancholy eye. Clouds drift uneasily away, and the last birds of passage depart the dying land. But I, swimming in the red blood of tonight's sun, will depart for the second page of life.